If you're like me, you are juggling multiple things, multiple lanes of your life. Me, I'm a pastor, I'm a coach, I do some business stuff, and I have some volunteer roles in the community that I just love. And sometimes it just feels like all that stuff is running into each other, and I get a little bit fuzzy on what matters most. And I've got a planning hack that's my favorite that's really helped me to stay focused. It's something I can go to even if I'm just having a hard day that just everything starts to blur, or I overbook and I need to figure out what I should cancel, or any number of things that happen in our world. I can just go to this. I can pull out a napkin and I can just write this out. I can get a piece of paper and do this, or I can go into one of my digital tools that I use more often and really map this out. But here's the framework: is that it's about zooming out and then zooming in. And for me, that's been something that I've just really leaned into. I call it cascading clarity in the big picture, like the idea that you're going from something very large to something extremely small. And so here's the framework. It starts with the word dreams. And I really adopted this from my coach, Brendan Burchard. Dreams. Like, what are you dreaming about? I mean, have you ever just stopped in a busy time and just rewritten out your dreams? There's amazing clarity that can come from that, because now you're getting out of the weeds for just a minute. You can breathe. You get your motivation back. You start to feel like, okay, this is what I signed up for. And I think it's really helpful to just get those dreams out, because that really should be our North Star, these God-given dreams that He's given to us. For me, I obsess about the idea of somehow contributing to a movement that is multiplying disciples for Jesus, that I can have a hand on this idea that we make a dent in the world, that we actually do something that's measurable for mankind, that brings God's kingdom in a very tangible way. So for me, I'm always just obsessing about that. Now, some aspect of that I'll put in some leadership development thing, or my hopes and dreams for our church for this next couple of years, or whatever. But and my family, obviously, like what do I want to do? Where do we want to go with my wife? These things, my dreams. And then the second thing, and that might be more obvious. Here's the second one I think is a little bit of a sneaker. And this is, again, from Brendan Burchard. I adapted this. I added a couple things to it. But he said go from dreams to routines. I thought that was a surprise when I saw that the first time. From dreams to routines. I would think you'd go from dreams and go straight to like breaking it down into the work, right? But to routines, because if you don't make time for the thing that you want to do, or that you want to accomplish, or that you want to become, or that you want to have, then there's just no way it's going to happen. So instead of skipping to the tactical part, which is where we get our calendar so full and we feel like we're overwhelmed because our task list is too big, you can't even see straight, go to the routines, which is the times and places and the things that you'll do that either are building your capacity. That could be a routine. For me, a morning routine is super important, and it does help me stay clear. So I'm reviewing my goals in my morning routine. That's really important. But also routines like, when am I going to write? What's my writing block? So that when I say I want to be a best-selling author, so that I can help more people, so that I can raise more leaders, so that I can have an impact on God's kingdom, then when am I even writing? And so the routines are really a part of that. Or if you say, we really want to improve our marriage, but you go, you skip past the date night thing. Like, when are we spending time together? So dreams, then routines. And I'm going to spell a word out with all this that I think you're going to really appreciate, because you'll remember it. Then it goes to goals. And goals would be, the more refined kind of place where you'd put the dreams are going to be broken down into what? Into goals. If you've got a dream of being a best-selling author, then a goal could be, I want to have one book published by next year. By when? By January 1st, I want to have a book published. Okay. I've had 3 books published, all self-published. And my next move is that I want to reach more people with that medium, and I'm excited about that. But the goals would say, here's what I want to do by when. And I think that's, again, really important to go first dreams, then routines, then goals. Okay, then we go into something that might start to feel a little more familiar, which is projects. So dreams, goals, routines, projects. I love this exercise because I can remember it. I can write it down on any piece of paper or any iPad or any whatever, and I can just get clear and get focused again when I need to. Projects meaning, okay, I've got dreams, routines, goals, projects. I want to write a best-selling book. My goal would be to have a book out by January 1st. My project would be rough draft number one. Or it might even be broken down more than that. No, like you got sections in your book. Maybe you can have 5 sections. Okay, section one, outline. That could be a project. Something that is multiple. A project is just a multiple steps, and so you go. What's the kind of chunk this down? Dreams, goals, dreams, routines, goals, projects, and you're familiar with all of this stuff. But then it goes into tasks, and I think it's helpful sometimes to go no notes, no lists. Just let me sit down and write all this stuff out fresh, like from my heart, like from what I could just go. I could just do this off the top of my head because it's been mulling around in my head and it's important to me. And I think sometimes we have our best work when we don't drag all the lists forward for our really important focused planning time. This hack helps me because it almost is a fresh breath every time I do it, because I'm going, oh, I pulled that out of my heart instead of out of some old dusty list of guilty things I haven't done yet. So I just want to share one of my favorites is this hack that goes, oh man, I could do this in 30 minutes. I feel better in 30 minutes if I will just, in the middle of an overwhelmed season, 30 minutes on this, which is DRGPT, Dr. GPT. Okay, I know that sounds goofy, but it's a way for me to remember this. Everybody remembers Chat GPT at this point in history. But Dr. GTP, dreams, routines, goals, projects, tasks. If you start to feel overwhelmed this week, grab a napkin, find 10 minutes somewhere in a closet somewhere, and just go, oh man, let me just find some focus with this cascading clarity, this zoom out, then zoom in. It will get better. It will feel better. I hope this helps you. I hope you're having a great week. God bless you.